5-year-old Ramon, what was she dreaming about? What was she thinking about life?
Going back to my childhood, the memory I have about my dreams is right from when I was 14 years old. And I just knew this is exactly what I'm going to do. I remember as a child, I was always in myself, very sure about where I'm walking, what I knew. And right from the age of 14, I started training myself mentally that this is exactly what I want to do. I want to heal people. I want to make this world a better place.
So tell me about, like, in all of this, how did quantum physics happen?
I'm an energy person, okay? So when I was even a kid, I could see through the walls, I could see through solid matter, I could sense energies, I exactly knew how people felt. So it was very intrinsic to me. Now, with all the knowledge that I have, I feel I've been carrying this wisdom from lifetimes.
Give me an account of like a past life regression therapy that you did for a client and it was life changing for them.
Every session that we've done in past life is life changing because here you are suffering a problem so much. So past life regression therapy is like going back to the root of it, uprooting the root and planting new seeds.
A lot of people are lost. Let's take example of a woman. They feel like, oh, my family told me I should settle down, I should get married, I should have a child. I did all that, but I don't know what I was here for. What would you tell someone as to how they can start being intentional and aware about looking for their purpose?
So the first thing you must recognize is,
hey everyone, this is Shruti. Welcome to my podcast, I'm Just Curious, where I talk of all the things I'm curious about with the people I'm curious about and how they turn their passion into their profession. Today's guest, Ramon Lamba, is a rare bridge between science and spirit, a PhD in quantum physics turned energy alchemist, therapist, and healer. As the founder of Golden Age Isvara, a holistic healing center, she now guides people through deep inner transformation from past life regression to karmic healing and energetic alignment. Get ready for a powerful conversation on the quantum truth, soul healing, and what it really means to come back to your highest self. Hi Ramon, how are you? Welcome to I'm Just Curious. How are you doing?
I'm great, Shruti, and I'm so really excited to be here today. And thanks for having me over.
Thank you so much. It makes me feel so good to hear that. And I'm super excited to have you. I've been looking forward to this conversation with you. And I can't wait to start with it. But before we start, when we were coming here, I was just telling my team that even when the first I was just replaying the first conversation we had, you were very sweet and very kind, and you were like, yeah. Like, it was in no minutes, like, you were like, take a date, this date, call me, and then we'll fix it. And it was that easy. And it's the most easiest scheduled interview I've had. So thank you for that, first of all.
It's such a pleasure. And like I just told you, because I think the best gift we could give someone when they're reaching out is our presence and making it easy for them, actually, making life easy.
Yeah.
So I guess it was coming from there.
That's so
Thanks
sweet.
for acknowledging.
Yeah, of course. That's the first thing I see in people, like how they, because that's what I think attracts me also to people, how they're treating other people, how they make, it's about, people will forget what you say, people will forget how what you do, but they will never forget how you made them feel.
Absolutely.
So thank you for making me feel so comfortable and everything. I want to share an incident also that Oprah once was going to meet heads of state or a prime minister or a president of a country or something like that. And she was talking to her partner about it. And she was worried for 3 days. Okay, what will I talk about? What will I talk about? Her partner got fed up after a moment because they were at a dinner table, and he was like, maybe you should listen, for a change. Rather than look, she was like, how do I seem interesting? How do I seem interesting? And she was like, maybe you can seem interested rather than interesting.
Amazing.
So that's the intention for my conversation with you today. I want to be interested rather than being interesting with my questions. And because I was under this so much pressure, like, oh my God, I have to ask the best questions. You have so much knowledge to offer. And I was like, wait a minute. Maybe I can just ask the simplest questions and then you can blow our minds away, right? So let's start.
Great, let's go.
I would love to know and take you back to your childhood, because that's where we start with every guest. And I would love to know, a 5-year-old Ramon, what was she dreaming about? What was she thinking about life? And talk to me about that.
Going back to my childhood, the memory I have about my dreams is right from when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
And I just knew that this is exactly what I'm going to do. I always found myself being a peacemaker, a bridge builder between conflicts in my siblings, And wherever there would be a problem, I would just visualize myself fitting in and making peace. So making peace was one thing that just very intrinsically came into me. And I think I was a dreamer. Even as a 5 year old, I was more within myself. And today, when I look at understanding this, being an introvert was one of my best gifts.
Okay.
Because it never took me away from my soul. I never lost the essence of my dharma. Because we're all born with a blueprint. We're all born with a purpose. And somewhere in life, we get so lost on the outside that we just miss it out. But when people ask me, what is my purpose? I just wonder, why did they even lose it? Because I remember as a child, I was always in myself, very sure about where I'm walking, what I knew. And right from the age of 14, I started training myself mentally that this is exactly what I want to do. I want to heal people. I want to make this world a better place.
Yeah, yeah. That's so nice because I had this friend once ask me a question that something we were talking about something, she had to make a choice between a job opportunity she had. And I don't know, randomly, okay, I didn't think much about it, but randomly I just said to her, don't do something that hurts your soul.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it came from, okay? She was not expecting me to say that. I was not expecting myself to give that answer. But I think that's what you also mean, right? That you never felt like that it's something to lose. So how, I think you also feel that, how do people feel like that they don't have the purpose or dharma yet? Like they've not discovered it.
So, like I said, every soul who comes into this planet is carrying their blueprint, their purpose, because if there was no purpose, we would not be here.
Yeah.
But as we are growing up in life, our conditioning overpowers our purpose, our environmental experiences overpowers our purpose, and we just miss out on it. And then obviously it's a journey within to go and explore it further. So, and especially when parents come to me bringing their children, saying that ye bahut introvert hai, isko extrovert banao. I said, you know what, being introvert is the best gift because you get to be with yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's really elegant when you're living life and suddenly you don't have to wake up one day at 40 and then start looking for purpose. Because it's too late then.
Yeah, yeah. But so tell me about, like, in all of this, how did quantum physics happen? A PhD in quantum physics, that too. It's so fascinating to me.
So for me, I'm an energy person, okay? So when I was even a kid, I could, being a clairvoyant, I could see through the walls. I could see through solid matter. I could sense energies. I exactly knew how people felt. I could just scan through their energy body and know that, okay, they're carrying so much anger and so much guilt and this is where it's trapped. So it was very intrinsic to me. And now with all the knowledge that I have, I feel I've been carrying this wisdom from lifetimes, right? As I was growing up, I think I was 18 years old when I read this book by Dr. Deepak Chopra, and it so resonated with me. And that was the first time I heard the word quantum physics. And I was so awed and inspired. And being an energy person, energy would excite me, right? So I still remember as a kid telling my sister that I can see through this wall, and she would say, you're crazy, right? So for me, passing through energetic matter was just like a child's game.
Yeah.
And quantum physics, again, like I said, maybe this was very intrinsic. It was within my soul's blueprint to be doing this. And in my life, Deepak Chopra was my inspiration. I just wanted, like, when you ask a child, bade hoke kya banoge? So in my head, it would be Deepak Chopra.
He was your idol. Like he was already where
Only
you
for
wanted to
quantum
be.
physics.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
energy, healing,
and then
stuff.
when and I'm talking about way back, in the early 2000s, nobody spoke about it.
Yeah.
There were very few universities who were teaching it. But even you read one line about, even today when I'm teaching quantum physics, my excitement, my eyes lit up and, my energy goes up and I'm like a dancing symphony of atoms and molecules, and
Yeah,
it really excites
wow.
me. So, yeah.
That's lovely. But when you've said this repeatedly in till now, and I have to mention this, that when I spoke to you, I think I don't know if you can feel it. It has created an impression on me in terms of that you have such great energy. And right now you are also talking about that you are drawn to energies and all that. And it has like made me feel ki I have not met very many people with that kind of energy. It's huge. I don't know how do I explain this to people who are watching this. There are, there are so many people who do energy healing, who are doing a lot of work in this space. But I feel like you truly belong in this space because how you are yourself in terms of your energy,
Thank
I
you.
can totally believe that you do have this power to transform people's lives because your energy speaks for it.
Thank you so much.
know?
Like I always say, energy always speaks louder than actions and
Yeah.
words.
Yeah.
And energy never lies.
Yeah. It introduces you before you even speak.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now that, so when you started, you decided that, okay, I'm going to enter into quantum physics, right? And then how did it lead to PhD? What lessons did you learn along the way? What excited you along the way? What changed your mind about it along the way? It's one thing to take up something thinking, having an impression of it, having certain impression of it. But when you actually get into that profession, start studying it, your mind opens up, right? With all different things. So what were those things that blew your mind when you took up quantum physics?
So, first of all, the journey did not start with the mindset of learning quantum physics.
Okay.
The journey started off with energy healing,
Okay.
right? But then healing is a very non-logical concept, very intangible, right? And when you understand the human brain, the left brain and the right brain, the left brain is wired more for logic and for information, and the right is more about emotions and the world of energy.
Yeah.
So I was a very right brain person, but then I was sitting with one of my gurus one day, and I was just expressing my desire of how I want to heal the world and how I want to be someone. But then he said, "Aapki baat kaun sunega?" So for you to be someone, you'll have to come to a place of authority. And that made a lot of sense to me. And I realized I need to first get everything on my side. Because see, when we're dealing, energy is real. And I don't want to be a quack because because these days there's so many energy healers who are stepping into people's energy field without even knowing the logic and the science behind it. And it even causes more damage sometimes.
Yeah.
So for me, being an energy healer or a light worker, it was very, very essential to understand the logical aspect of it. And that is when quantum physics came in. Because quantum physics is the science of the non-physical world. There is Newtonian physics, that's the physics of the
particles
of the material world, the world of matter.
Matter.
And then there is also a world of quantum, quantum field of potential, the non-physical world. So quantum physics is a study of all of that, and energy is also that.
Yeah.
So that is when I realized that if I really want to understand the science of it and to be able to do my work, to do energetic surgeries into people's energy bodies, to remove their trauma, to transmute their energy, then it's very mandatory for me to recognize and understand the science behind it.
Right.
Because that's when it gets very real.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
till you've not fed your left brain, right, it will just not give you a complete whole brain process.
Yeah, yeah. And also, like, when you deal with people, they're going to ask you all sorts of questions,
Yes.
and you got to be ready to answer them,
Yes.
right? For them to have that trust in you and faith in you to open up about their life and let you help them as well.
And also, Shruti, it's very important to recognize one of the fundamental principles of energy in quantum physics also that we talk about is everything in the universe is energy and frequency. So as a coach or as a mentor or as a teacher or as a healer, my job is to entrain them into my frequency. So I've got to be authentic in every essence of me. Because if I'm not walking my talk and I'm not being who I am, then I'm actually cheating them.
Yeah.
So I also feel my entire excitement to study the subject came from a place of being authentic. Because in one of my past life regressions, I saw many lifetimes actually, where I was a quack, energy quack. Where I did not know my work, I did not know but I was good at energy healing, and I ended up creating a lot of damage. So my lesson in this lifetime, my karmic lesson in this lifetime was, I'm going to do it the right way. So they say, when you have your lessons in your blueprint, soul's blueprint, then automatically things show up. So quantum physics showed up because I decided, maybe even before I was born, that this lifetime I'm going to do it the right way. I'm not going to see. Sometimes what happens, you just have little knowledge and you say, "Oh, I'm a healer." But I feel. You just can't know medicines and become a doctor. So even energy medicine is real, energy science is real. So maybe that was the whole my past life. Again, like I said, my incompletions in my many lifetimes. Like this lifetime, I'm very, very clear. I will only teach something when I have a certificate, when I'm certified to do it. So I guess it's coming from there. The
Right.
failures of the past life.
You've gotten deep quite quickly. Now we have a lot to unpack there about past life regression and therapy. The first time I heard this word was from my friend, and she just randomly happened to mention to me. I used to be like, I'm a sensitive person, but I used to be very indifferent about like, I was very scientific in terms of how my brain worked.
Yeah.
Sensitive as at heart, but like very practical, logical, like, very scientific. Like, how in science experiments hote hai ki observation, conclusion, ingredients used. So my brain used to work like that, and she brought up this topic. So I want to ask you, when you say that, like my past life, I left this unfinished or didn't do it properly, what are some of the things that nowadays people don't realize, but they're going through things and they don't realize that it's coming from there? And also, what could be those things? It could be anything and everything, or it has to be like specific, like, say, for example, somebody who focused more on their relationships, but this lifetime they came here to focus more on themselves. It can be just those things, or it could be anything.
So, no, there's nothing like a fixed mandate for a past life, for a blueprint to show up. However, the theme of your life, especially the purpose and the passion. Like, for example, if I have to give you another example, a person who's just born to be an artist intrinsically will have art within their soul. And maybe that was the purpose of their dharma. And in some lifetime, that was left incomplete. And ideally, we as a species we come into life to create our purpose and our passion into a profession. Yeah. So by default, whatever is your passion, if you explore into it, then purpose comes out of there, and then you can create a profession out of there. However, a lot of souls are unaware of what even they're carrying, because even before they're 21 years old and they start living their life, they start navigating more on the outside world and are more influenced by the outside forces.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I said at the beginning of it. My biggest gift was I never left my soul and went out. So my purpose never left me. That I had to look for it, right?
But that's huge.
Yeah, but every soul is carrying a purpose.
Yeah.
One of my mentors, Dr. Wayne Dyer, very beautifully said that the richest place in the entire universe is the cemetery, because 99% of the people even die without unpacking the gift that they came to give here on the planet.
Oh.
They don't even want to unfold who they are.
That's so
What
true.
is their gift? Because our purpose is also a gift for ourselves and to the world we come here to give.
Yeah, true. I also read this quote somewhere that if you are not following your passion, you're doing a disservice to yourself and to people around you. You never know whose life it is meant to change, and your gifts are not sometimes not for yourself. Sometimes your gifts are for the world.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Because, they say that you wear the perfume, but other people get to smell it. So your gifts are also like that.
Yeah.
And when you said a lot of people are lost, how can somebody watching, a young person, in their 20s or early 30s or something, they feel like, let's take example of a woman. Like, they feel like, my family told me I should settle down, I should get married, I should have a child. I did all that, but I don't know what I was here for. Like, I did everything, all the boxes that were supposed to be ticked, I ticked. Now what? What would you tell someone as to how they can start being intentional and aware about looking for their purpose? And someone who's now in a situation where they feel like they didn't get a chance to do that early on, how can they start and how can they look for it?
Yeah, so I want to share my own journey here. Like, I belong to a very modern family in mindset, but then my dad was very conservative, and in his understanding, daughter means 18 years and get married. And I knew I had a bigger vision, a bigger goal. And he always would tell me, Shadi ke baad karna, you know, your in-laws will, or your husband will take care of it, but this is not our prerogative. After 12th standard, we have to get you married. I still remember that day when I was really crying and telling my mom, I don't want to get married because there's so much more I want to do with my life. And she only told me, Shadi ke baad karna. And I realized I'm not going to let go of my purpose no matter what. And the journey became very difficult because, you know, once you're married, then you lose your purpose because there's another direction now you're looking at.
People
you're
are
settling
expecting things of you.
Yeah,
There are
and you're the daughter-in-law
responsibilities.
for family, and I'm talking way back 20,
Yeah.
35 years back. It was different than what it
Yeah.
is now. Expectations, and then right after that, at 18 I got married. At 21 at 22 I was a mother of 2 kids, and now every night my purpose is nudging me and not letting me sleep. And I have this whole paraphernalia to take care of outside.
Yeah.
But I don't even remember a single day my purpose ever left me. Sleepless nights. दुनिया को हील करना है, दुनिया को हील करना है, कैसे करना है, you know. And वो एक जुनून होता है ना, that will never let you sleep, that fire in your belly. So for all the women out there who have families, there is no timeline. Nobody is keeping a check on us.
Yeah.
Right? कि हमको इतने ही साल में करना है. For me to get here, it took me almost like 30 years.
Yeah.
32 years. And sometimes I would go into regret and say, yaar, jaldi ho jata. But then I guess this was the plan.
Yeah.
But what is so beautiful is today my family is like my cheerleader. My kids, my husband, my mother-in-law, they all celebrate my purpose because they've seen me building it.
Yeah.
Stone by stone, step by step. It was not easy.
Yeah.
You know,
I can imagine.
Right, 18 years I spent into कभी अमेरिका जा रही हूँ सीखने, कभी इस कोच के पास जा रही हूँ. Quantum physics took me 9 years of studying, but I'm a kitabi kida. So I love to just go into my books and I love to study. So it kept me going, but then also being a perfect, and I'm a perfectionist. So being a perfect mother, perfect wife, perfect daughter-in-law, and, you know, juggling so many balls took a lot of energy. But today I feel it all paid off. And one day the world sees you, because a lot of people today see me and say, wow, this is like, you know, you've done a great job, but then I know the struggles that have happened there. So the whole idea is about being loyal to your purpose. And for people who are not aware of their purpose,
Yeah. What do they do?
get started. It's never too late. You know, just unfold your purpose before you leave this planet.
What is the process of, say, for example, somebody watching, they're like, okay, I want to, however difficult this journey is, I want to take this step of starting to discover this. What is the first step? What is
So
what
the
is the
first
thing
thing
they
you
do?
must recognize is whatever is your purpose, what you've come here to give, is there inside you and you're good at it. So ask yourself, the first question is, what is my passion? What gives me that junoon, you know, jo sone nahi deta? What is that dream? It could be as simple as, you know, maybe I will just love myself, like you said. It could be as, purpose doesn't have to be huge and
Yeah.
big to the world. It could
True.
be for your own self. It could just be, I would be a perfect mother. I would be a perfect husband. I would be a perfect person.
Yeah.
Okay? So there are two purposes that we bring in. One is a soul purpose and one is a role purpose.
Okay.
A soul purpose is something like what I'm displaying right now. You know, I know I was born to heal the world, and that was in my soul. The role purpose is, at every moment we are switching roles. Like I'm playing the role of a mother, I'm playing the role of a wife, I'm playing the role of a daughter, a daughter-in-law. So can I then be fully aware and present in every role that I play? Because a combination of our role purpose and soul purpose makes it whole and complete.
Yeah.
Now, if I would have fulfilled my soul purpose by not making my family happy, like being a perfect wife, a perfect mother, today I would not be happy. Right? A lot of people, when they're growing and they're unfolding their purpose, maybe let go of relationships because it's very challenging, you know, to hold the relationship and go through this journey.
Yeah.
Because then, you know, even you need their permission to even step out or do something. So it does get challenging. But then what I feel, the balance of role purpose and soul purpose is what gives you that joy, that happiness of achieving something. Because when you've reached the top of the mountain, you at least have someone cheering you.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
own people.
Yeah.
So the first step is understand and ask yourself, what am I really passionate about? The second step, which is most important, is create a level of self-awareness. And self-awareness is an ability, or it's like a muscle that you build up to go within and be in your soul's quotient. But most of us are programmed to come in, function from our mind.
Yeah.
So we don't even want to go beyond the mind to step into the
Yeah.
soul. And meditation is the key, awareness is the key, breath work is the key. So going inside, beyond
However
your mind.
uncomfortable it is.
Yeah, it is uncomfortable because it's very easy to blame people outside and go on the outside.
Exactly.
And also believing in yourself, because I always tell my students, how do you expect the universe to believe in you when you don't believe in yourself?
Yeah.
So first believe in yourself. But it's not even our fault, because by the time we're 21 years, we are programmed and conditioned to just believe we're not good enough and we're not going to make it and we're not capable, or we're just going to fail.
Yeah.
And these beliefs start driving our life. So we're so scared to even go within and explore.
Yeah, yeah. How does one deal with that? Say for example, somebody knows their purpose, but they are around people who themselves don't know their purpose. So now there becomes like this, other person wants to go and follow their purpose, but this person is completely unaware about their purpose. So now they become a hindrance. Or like they don't create an environment like how your family created for you over time, of course, and how they supported you. How does one like still go ahead and do it? Like how does one...
the environment was never there.
Okay.
Like you're saying exactly, nobody knew about their purpose. But then maybe my first purpose. So see, purpose will come with roadblocks. And maybe this person not believing in your purpose could be the biggest hindrance and the roadblock. But like I said, you have to be loyal to your purpose to overcome any obstacles. The problem in life is not about success or failure.
Yeah.
Failure is just something that you gave up too soon. Okay. Like today, maybe I must have given up on myself in the last 35 years at least 20 times. But I've given up, and maybe after 2 months start again. So it's been a slow and progressive journey, because like I said, that fire in your belly does not let you sleep. How can you be sleeping when you're born for something?
Yeah.
And by default, like I said, I'm a very spiritual person, and I don't... spiritual doesn't mean like I do a lot of things, but it simply means that I believe in the concept of an infinite divine energy within me and above me, right? This divine intelligence. So my purpose was my promise to God, and that did not let me sleep. And I can't even think about going away from life without honoring that promise.
Yeah.
Because I promised God that send me to life school, send me to earth, and I will fulfill this. I will create this with the wisdom I have.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be a catalyst. And it's not the the ego I,
Yeah.
but it's through me that we will create,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I just cannot imagine going away from planet Earth without fulfilling that promise.
Yeah. So I think if we had to sum it up what you just said, I think even if it's easy to let yourself down, but how do you let God down?
Yeah.
So I think that should hold you. That should become your pillar of strength and an anchor every time you become weak.
And I remember this as a very small child, maybe 17, 16, that this is my promise to God and I'm going to fulfill it. My love for God, actually. And now God, again, like is not for me a white-bearded man sitting on a throne up there.
I get it.
But it's a divine energy. And
It's a feeling also.
It's a feeling. It's a feeling. It gives me a sense of fulfillment. It gives me a sense of, value, that I'm here for something.
Yeah, yeah. What is, like you said, there have been a lot of roadblocks and challenges that you also have faced. Can you share one incident where you faced a challenge, that became a hindrance or a roadblock, and how did you overcome it? And how, your perspective changed and how you came out of it, and now, you see it from afar and you're like, okay, I did that.
So I've only learned one thing so it took me, it took me almost 18, 19 years to prepare myself to do what I'm doing. And before I could start this journey, there were many small roadblocks. From the point of enrolling my in-laws. Okay, because now see, I'm a girl born, brought up in Bangalore. And my parents very conveniently said, Shadi ke baad karna. Right? Now, we are from a very typical Punjabi Sardar family. And from Bangalore, getting married to a Delhi family, that's again very, very business class family. Daughter-in-laws don't work. The concept of daughter-in-law doing anything doesn't even stand there. So now you're suddenly put into that environment. And I also have to prove myself because I also, at the age of 18, 19, had this role of a people pleaser. I loved being an air hostess and pleasing people and giving up, the martyr syndrome and all of that. So now how do you manage with a personality like this? How do you still think about yourself? So small roadblocks kept coming in the way. But, I remember one thing. Again, this is inner wisdom where I sat back one day and I asked myself, this is my purpose and I want to get there. And to go there, I have to win over these three people. The three people are my husband, my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law. Right? Because till I don't have them on my side, it's going to get very difficult.
Yeah.
So then I said, okay, I'm going to put my purpose aside. So you can park your purpose aside for some time, right? I put it aside for 2.5, 3 years, and I gave 100% of myself to them to win them over. Right?
Now that's something people can use.
Yes. Because sometimes, we get very impatient कि अभी करना है, but अभी क्यों करना है? अगर मेरी जिंदगी 80 साल की है, तो 80 years है ना मुझे करने के लिए. I mean, nobody's keeping a scorecard. There's not a running race.
Yeah.
So the 2.5 years of my marriage, you become dumb, you become deaf, and you just keep watching. Okay, just please them, just give them everything they want, and slowly make your way into their heart, and then start winning them over on your side. So that was the first battle won, and then they started understanding. Although in that understanding also there were a lot of gaps, and so I started my journey in the year 1994 into this. And then I did my quantum physics and I've studied all of this. And now I'm in the year 2010, right? And one day I was sitting, I said, I've studied so much, but I need one label or one, what am I going to call myself?
Yeah.
A healer or a physicist or what? So what is that one tag I'm going to give myself? And at that time, this term life coach was really not out there. It was not so common, right? And at that time, we also did not have phones. And so I
internet.
still remember sitting on my desktop and trying to Google something. Google was there.
Yeah, Google
right?
was there.
So, and suddenly this term popped up, life coach. And I was like, this sounds interesting because this is what I want to do. So that's when my search started. And I found out that there is one certification in the US that Louise Hay does. And I'm talking about that time. Currently, her certifications have, after she passed away, they've gone smaller. But I realized that there were at that time, there were two levels of certification that you have to do to become a life coach. So now here is my dream. And like I said, I had this Kira also, I have to do it properly and I have to be certified. So I found out the entire course. It's happening in 2000. This is 2010 I'm sitting at. And I decided next year I'm going to collect the funds. It costed a lot of money at that time. And going to America and staying there for 2 times, like level 1 and level 2 for about 12 days, 15 days, was unthinkable for me, right? So, and at that time, as a family, we were also going through a financial crisis. So my husband refused to obviously support me on the money, but I realized I have to do this. And I decided that I'm going to take a loan. And the loan was almost at a 4% interest, which was at that time huge for me. It was a 15 lakh loan for me at that time because the course itself cost a lot, and then traveling and staying.
Yeah, expenses.
So I take this loan and I've paid up. And for me, the person that I was, and I'm talking about again 2010, it's like you grow over time. And here is my dream, here is my goal. And once I come back with a certificate, I'm out to show myself to the world, right? So the last block is this, I just need this one certificate, okay? Yeah. And all said, paid up. And it was really, really difficult for me to even think about the loan that I'd taken because I have to pay it back now. But the money went, it's non-refundable and everything. And I'm supposed to be traveling on the 4th of September to the US because the 7th September the course starts. And on 31st August night, I lose my father. And 4 days after I have to travel, I have to make a choice that should I stay here for the society norms? Here I've lost the most important person in my life, or should I go? Because you know how
Yeah,
Indian society
Indian
is,
society.
and the pain was immense. That decision was very difficult for me to make, and I was wondering, सबसे ज़्यादा important ये certificate और सबसे ज़्यादा important person God ने ले लिया. I mean, why? Is this a test? And maybe life was testing me to see कि देखते हैं क्या करती है. But by God's grace, social looking good was never there. That I have to be here for the Tervi or
Yeah.
and I chose to make the decision to go. That one step, today, if I look back, was the most brave step in my life that made me unstoppable. It peeled away the mask of social looking good because there was my goal, my dream, my purpose. And here I lose someone very important. And that 21-hour flight that I took also to New York, I had almost like 3 times I collapsed in the flight and they put oxygen on me and I had my nervous breakdown because I was grieving my
It's
father.
scary, yeah.
Yeah. It's only 4 days.
Your
and
body
you
has
got
not
to-
processed anything.
Yeah, and it's a huge loss. But today when I look back, I realized that I'm beyond excuses and you become unstoppable.
Yes.
And I could, even if I didn't go, right, I could never bring back my father.
Yeah.
So I think that power to make the right decision and for your purpose is what I got from that one episode. And today I want to inspire people by telling them life will stop you.
Yeah.
हर पल जिंदगी रोकेगी. But do you want to play the game small? Or do you want to just move beyond it? And the fun thing about that was I came back fully healed and my family was still grieving. And then I took on the course of healing them and getting them out of the grieving process. But
You were healed when you went there, like when the program
no,
you
it
took
was very difficult through the program. It had its
But it
own
did help.
journey, but it did really, really help. And, purpose is achieved through a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And I feel in the pain, because in the pain is the light. But you have to have the power to go through that pain. People give up there,
Yeah.
because, like I said, life will stop you and we get stopped. Become unstoppable. Like, keep your relationship in your life between you and your purpose, where you're going, what is your goal, what is your dream. It has to be in front of you at every second.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also like, whether you want to betray yourself, it's a betrayal if you don't follow
Yeah.
it. It's a betrayal after all. Do you want to
Yeah.
betray other people? Do you want to betray yourself?
Yeah.
Do you want to live the truth that you're born with? Or do you want to be like, live everything else, but not live that truth?
Yeah.
And inside you're dying, But then, or you choose the other side where you are living the truth. It's painful, but at least you're living.
Yeah, like they say,
You're
dar
not
ke
dying.
aage jeete na.
Yeah.
So you have to cross that.
Yeah.
And the most beautiful thing about this journey was, so I am sitting there on the first day of the orientation. I'm obviously very sad, but I'm pretending and wearing a mask that I'm okay. So we were all sitting in a circle and the orientation begins and we were 40 people from all over the globe. And we all had to introduce ourselves. The moment my turn came, before I could even speak, my coach, she spoke and she asked me this question: have you lost someone very, very close? I said yes. Just 4 days back, I lost my father, and coming here has been the biggest challenge of my life. And you know what she told me? He's standing right behind you wearing a red turban with white dots. My father always wore a polka dot turban, right?
Oh my God.
And he's only telling you one thing: he's proud of you that you took this step. And that was that one moment where everything changed for me. And I said, he's with me.
How did she know? Did you ask her?
So see, energy workers, we sense
Yeah, you
energies.
sense.
And because he was present there,
Yeah.
He was just there with me. And I don't even have pain today when I'm speaking about this, because I've so beautifully healed it. Because I just knew that he was proud of me taking that step. Because I know if I did not go, then I would have no way of paying my money back.
Yeah.
I would have never had the strength to go back again. So, yeah, sometimes life puts those big mountains in front of you. You have to cross them.
Yeah. But I also feel like they don't take a person, it's not in a bad way that they took that person. They took that person because they brought someone up there with God to help you.
Yeah, I mean, again,
know?
like I said, see, life and death is beyond our hands.
Yeah, yeah.
We cannot, but then it is how we deal with our life. Like you said, your own loyalty towards your dream, your goal.
Yeah.
And you cannot betray yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Because why I say that is because I little bit resonate with that in a different sense, that I lost my grandfather in like 2016 maybe, and I was not ready for it. And he was 80 plus. He's lived life. He's fine. He had a heart condition, but still. But it happened so suddenly, and I was like, not now. Like, I was like talking to God. I'm like, not now. I'm not ready for this, And but he
Yeah,
left.
but then their death is not about us.
Yeah, exactly. But it, in a way, I don't know, repeatedly, something inside me said to me or made me feel like he's taken up there because somebody has assigned him to look after you from up there, maybe.
Yeah, and
See,
when you look at it scientifically, it's a different scenario. But when you look at it philosophically or spiritually or emotionally, then you don't know what the truth is.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah.
But any truth that makes you feel good is the truth.
Yeah. And also, these things are not for everyone to understand.
Yeah.
It's if you get it, if you understand it, it's fine.
Absolutely.
Also, let's talk about, you mentioned past life regression, right? I'm very fascinated with the topic. I'll tell you a story again there, a little bit. So, like I said, my friend told me it, and she's like, she's always curious interested about these metaphysical. She's a big believer in. She used to talk a lot about love, and I used to be like, what is love? Like, like I said, I used to be very scientific in my brain. But anyway, she would keep telling me that, and I think very recently, a year back or a year and a half, 2 years back, you get all these guided meditations on YouTube.
Yeah.
I somehow came across this one guided past life regression thing. Okay. And out of curiosity, okay, like my podcast also says, I was like, let's see what happens. Is this real or something? And so I did the whole thing. It was very short. It was not very long as well, 15, 20 minutes something. And I was like, I wanted to see. So whatever they said, I followed the process, the directions to the T completely, okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm doing it. I did that, and I'll tell you what I saw, and then maybe you can tell me what it means, and then we'll also get into the process of everyone. I saw just this one thing, okay? I saw a garden in a countryside somewhere. And I saw a bunch of girls, like a community, like maybe neighbors or maybe friends or whatever. And I saw them wearing this very particular dress, which is a German traditional dress. It's called Dirndl, something like that. I'll put up a picture. They wear it in Oktoberfest, in the beer festival. And I saw that, and I realized I was happy. I was not upset, sad, nothing. There was this immense joy, happiness. These girls were laughing, giggling. We were like, how friends are, or we were young girls, or, like it was like a community, and we were in like a picture perfect garden or a countryside in something. And that's it. That's all I saw. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, that's crazy. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'd been to Germany once before that, and I didn't like it. I went to Berlin, I didn't like. But I just briefly, if you can, like, what do you think that means?
I am not going to interpret that memory for you, but I can just broadly tell you, when you recognize the soul's journey, our soul is pure conscious energy. And the first thumb rule of energy is it cannot be created nor destroyed.
Yeah.
So our soul doesn't die.
Yeah.
Right? We only transform from the world of matter to the world of energy, and that's what death is.
Yeah.
But then when we have incomplete experiences in a lifetime, and every soul comes here to only give love and receive love. Love is the entire premise of our life. And when we, so if I had to decode your,
I'm
you're
curious,
saying you
yeah.
went to Germany and you did not like it.
हाँ, ऐसे मेरे को कोई feeling नहीं है ऐसे, हाँ.
Yeah. So could be that in some lifetime you were there, and maybe because see, unfolding a past life memory is not about one memory, because in that entire lifetime, maybe in your life in Germany there were many memories.
But I do feel a special connect with Europe in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one particular memory must have unfolded. It's like one scene from your
Yeah,
life.
it was just one scene. Yeah.
Because
yeah.
you did that 15-minute meditation.
Yeah.
But however, when we want to regress you for a past life, it's very important to have a context, because life functions from cause and effect. So if I've put some cause into motion in some lifetime and it was incomplete, maybe if I've hurt you, for example, so in this lifetime, it all has to come back to me.
Right.
So when people come to me to do a past life regression, my first question is, what is it that you're dealing with? Is it a money problem? Is it a health problem? Or are you suffering a relationship problem? So once I have a point of reference of what they're suffering.
Or what is the difficulty?
That is the effect.
Yeah.
Then the past life memory takes me to the cause.
Right.
Now the cause could be either in your childhood, that's also past.
Yeah.
It could be in your mother's womb, because also the 9 months when we are in our mother's womb, we store all the memories.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
it could be in any lifetimes that we've lived.
Right.
Okay. So the whole context, when you look at it from the mindset of quantum physics, there is this theory called the block universe theory that states that the universe is a big block. For the universe, there is no past, present, and future. It's all happening in the now. Let me give you an example, okay? Let's say I'm going on a highway from Delhi to Chandigarh. Okay. Now, I'm in my car and I reach the 10th kilometer and by mistake, my bag udhar gir jata hai. And I go forward. Now, I've reached 200 kilometers, but at 200 kilometers, is my bag still there at 10 kilometers? Yes, it's there. Right? You understand? So, life is like moving through a tunnel of space. We are moving forward. And that tunnel of space where the human mind separates space is called time. Okay. So our entire life is a combination of time and space. So now, if I'm suffering something in the now moment where I am present, the cause of that could be somewhere in the past as unprocessed energy. Energy is meant to be in motion.
Yeah.
Right? So let's say if I have not forgiven you, now that is negative. It's negative. Unforgiveness is negative.
Yeah.
I'm holding on to anger, sadness, right? Now, negative energy is dense energy and it cannot go into motion. So it gets trapped in, it gets stuck energy. So karma is nothing but opportunity to process stuck energy. So when we take them into a past life, we take them into that timeline, which is in the now, but in their memory, because see, it's only the human mind that can travel through time, space, and dimensions.
Yeah,
the human
absolutely.
thought. So through the power of thought, through the power of imagination, and through the power of taking your mind into a theta frequency. That's the programmable subconscious frequency where all our memories are stored. We time travel you, and you go back to the past, and so the moment you see that, oh my God, this is what happened, and this is what we did, and that's why I'm suffering, your whole mindset changes, and you start becoming more of a processing that energy than a victim. Right? So it's very simple to recognize that in this analogy that I gave you, Delhi Chandigarh highway, it is simply going back to the 10th kilometer and getting my bag that I left there.
Mentally.
This is mentally.
Yeah.
But when you understand the law, these principles of the universe, the Hermetic laws, the first fundamental principle of the universe is everything in the mind, in the universe is happening through the human mind or the mind.
Yeah.
It's mind over matter.
It's created in the mind first.
So yes, yeah. So if I can mentally go and uncreate it, I've actually uncreated it in the quantum field.
Right.
Because it's the mind that has the power over this quantum field, past, present, future. It's a human mind that...
True.
Right?
True.
So we all do it mentally. Physically, we're not taking you anywhere.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people ask me this question, हम चले जाएंगे तो वापस नहीं आएंगे.
It's not.
You know, and it's very
People
unlike
ask, like, literally
yeah,
asked
they
you.
ask me, and like in the movies they show you horses running and the music, tan tan tan, and the lights. Nothing of that. It is
Yeah.
just a memory unfolding.
Yeah.
Now, how do you know that this memory is not a cooked up memory
Yeah.
and a past life memory? That's a
Huh,
different.
that
yeah.
also we need to talk about.
If your mind is imagining it,
Huh.
then the feeling is only a head stuff. See, because your body stores the memory. And if you've lived something, then your body will feel that emotion. So when a past life memory is unfolding, you will not feel it in your head. You will feel it in every cell of your
Yeah.
body from the tip. You will vibrate at it. You will just
Yeah.
feel it like it's happening in the now. That then you know is a past memory unfolding.
That's a very, very
Yeah,
good
but if it's only
point.
a head stuff and you're not feeling it in your body
Yeah.
and you're just cooking up a story, then that's imagination.
Just to feel something.
Yeah,
Ki kya hota
that's
hai, kya
imagination.
feel. Huh, then that's imagination.
Then
but
that's
if you
not
feel
an-
it,
yeah.
that's a very good point, that your memories are stored in your body.
Yeah,
Like your body
cells, because
remembers.
your cellular memory is unfolding it
Yeah.
when you're in that state.
Yeah.
So it does. So another distinction between a past life memory showing up and our mind cooking it up is when a memory shows up. It doesn't show up as a story. It shows up as a smudge.
Hazy, you mean?
No, it's not visual. It's more feeling based, number one.
Okay.
Number two, it is you. Okay, let me give you an example what a smudge is. It shows up as a
Blurred situation?
No. It shows up as a piece of information. I'll give you an example. Let's take the analogy of the olden day typewriter.
Okay.
I don't know if you know
हाँ,
that.
हाँ, that-
जो
that
ribbon
वो ऐसे
होता-
करके
हाँ,
फिर
yeah.
you- हाँ.
So let's imagine वो अटक गया है और
हाँ.
मैं एक मैसेज टाइप कर रही हूँ और एक ही जगह एक के ऊपर एक वो मैसेज टाइप हो रहा है अल्फाबेट.
Okay.
Right? So now the entire message is in that one smudge, but when somebody reads it, they can't read it. But
Confusion type of.
Yeah. But when you decode it, you know the message is there. So it just shows up as like a very deep, intrinsic, this happened. There is no linear story to it.
हाँ, हाँ.
Like ऐसे हुआ था. No.
Right.
ये नहीं होता.
Yeah.
It is just like this happened.
हाँ.
And then
you get a feeling.
in that one feeling, the entire story is there, but it's not a story like a linear process. Because the mind functions in a linear fashion.
Yeah.
These memories are stored in your cells and your soul, right? So then it just shows up like that, and it's a very, very
like
intrinsic
एक
feeling.
incident दिखेगा.
Yes.
Like how I saw
ऐसे.
like one scene. ऐसे
Yeah.
एक scene ही दिखेगा बस. You will not see कि अरे पहले ये हो रहा है बाद में.
हाँ.
Because I was also like कि खाली यही like अचानक से इतना ही
And
क्यों दिखा
when you
मुझे?
come out of it, na, you just know that this is real.
Yeah.
It's not cooked up.
Yeah.
That's a sign that, okay, that's a past life memory that showed up.
Also talk about visions. You said that like have you ever gotten visions or like you know where you've seen you've gotten a flash or you've seen a picture or something?
Like a deja vu?
Not a deja vu. Like people have told me that, but I'm talking about a
past
vision.
life? Yeah, see, please understand, our five senses. Out of our five senses, our three senses: auditory, kinesthetic is our feeling sense, and our visual sense are the most activated senses.
Right.
And they are here to perceive information, any information from the outside or inside. So a lot of people who are visually active, then they see things.
हाँ, वही, that's
right?
what I'm
so
saying.
visuals show up a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a very kinesthetic person, so I feel more than I see or hear.
Okay.
People are auditory, they hear. So they will hear the whole story that this happened.
Acha, so there are also these types
Yes,
of people
types.
that people can keep in mind
Absolutely.
and not typecast them कि अरे ऐसा ही होना चाहिए.
Yeah.
It's not that.
No, because like I said, you could perceive the information that's trapped in your soul's blueprint as a past life memory through either of the three senses.
Either listening, hear,
Auditory, visual, or there are some people who all three are activated, so they'll see it all fully.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has that happened?
Yeah.
Give me an account of like a past life regression therapy that you did for a client, and it was life changing for them. Like they never.
Every session that we've done in past life is life changing, because please understand, here you are suffering a problem so much, and you don't know where the root is. So past life regression therapy is like going back to the root of it, uprooting the root and planting new seeds, so that the story of your life changes in the future.
How do you, so say for example, you said that somebody came to you, they did the therapy, you found the root cause. What is the process of uprooting
So
it?
see, number one, past life therapy is not a one session wonder.
Okay.
Okay, so for me to even take you into a past life container, I first So I never ever do one singular session for my clients. It's a 10 session package.
Okay.
Right? And taking them into past life, I normally do it in my retreats through breath work. Right? And I cannot decide what memory is going to show up. That's not in my
You do
hands.
collectively with people or solo?
We can do it collectively also.
Or
I do it
singular.
solo also.
Okay.
So we do womb trauma healing. So we take them into the birthing process through water rebirthing. That's a
Right.
process which we do, which is very, very popular to take them into their womb of
Yeah.
all the memories they're carrying. And then there's so many stories that show up. And the whole point is then after that they come back to me for the next session and I reprogram them into a future version, into a new person that they want to become by letting go of the memory. It's like, there was a dead rat somewhere in your energy field and it was smelling and showing these results. Now you've gone there and identified and cleaned it. Now you're planting new seeds for new fruits. So that's the whole process of past and future.
Right. But has any session stood out to you where you were shocked and you were like moved?
Now, initially, lots of them.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you're like a surgeon who's just cutting them open, getting it out, putting in new stuff, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Also, like you said, it can like you can get information through any form, right? In any form.
Yeah.
Who should consider? And you said that you also need to have a reason. Who should consider getting a past life regression therapy done if they?
So please understand how I like to see this is when I say past life therapy, I just don't mean your past life. For me, a past life therapy could be some trauma that's trapped even when you were a child in this lifetime.
Yeah.
Some trauma that's coming from your mother's womb space when you
Yeah.
were there in 9 months. Or it could be any lifetime. So it's just the past. See, because in the universe, there is no time.
True.
Okay, and for your soul also, this is not another lifetime, it's just a journey, right? So I like to just take, and I don't know what you're ready to see, but when you have an intention, like if I tell you, give you my example, like there was something that I was blocked up in life in an area of money, right? For example. So, and I've learned to regress myself also.
Yeah.
So time and again, wherever I'm stuck, I regress myself
Yeah.
because I want to go and change the cause so that the effect changes.
Yeah.
So there was this one time when I was stuck in the area of money and I wanted to go to the root cause of it, that where is the energy stuck, that momentum is not happening. And I went to a memory when I was in my mother's womb. It was a very, very sad memory, right? And it left me like almost shattered after I came out of the process. Then I wanted to verify it, so I called up my mom and I asked her, And with mom knows that we are all healers, so we have
We
open
can figure it
conversations.
out, huh?
Yeah. So she did confess that this had happened, right? And then when I heard it from her and I processed the memory, it took me about 5-6 days. But the moment I processed the whole memory and I became okay with it, my current situation started changing. You understand?
Yeah.
Because these memories, they become hardwired beliefs in our subconscious mind.
Yeah.
So my belief about that money block was coming from there,
Yeah.
right? Which was hindering my current progress. So once I go there and uproot that belief and I implant a new belief, my current reality changes.
And also, once you acknowledge something, it no
Yes.
longer holds the power on you, right?
Yes.
To make you fearful, to make you scared, to make you overwhelmed. Like it loses its power
Yes.
in that sense.
And currently, when you look at the energy on the planet is changing. We are moving through upgradation time of high energy transitions. Since the last 10 years, you've seen after COVID,
Yeah.
everything is changing. So currently, the timelines are very fluid.
Right.
And people are unfolding past life memories even in their sleep currently because there is a spiritual awakening happening globally and an ascension process. Now, for us to ascend to higher levels of vibration and frequencies, we have to let go of the past garbage. I call this kachda.
Yeah.
Right? So people are seeing a lot of their own. Why is depression going up? Because all these intrinsic memories are showing up. And if you have no knowledge about it, then it can just show up as a thought.
And maybe suppressing this uncomfortable feeling also could be resulting in depression.
Of course, yes.
That
because you don't have
feeling
a
of
process how to deal
discomfort.
with it.
Yeah.
So suppose, like, as a child, you were made to feel not good enough, and that memory is showing up, you'll suddenly start feeling not good enough. You'll be fully charged up to not feel not good enough.
But you
Or it
don't
could be
know
a
where
fear
it's
of money,
coming
and you
from.
don't know what to do. And you think this is my own feeling, so your mind then cooks up another story to validate that. And so you're
Yeah.
caught up in a cycle of that same thought and feeling rut.
True, true.
So it's really important to find those tools to cut out the cycle when these memories are releasing and processing.
Right. Let's talk about karma.
Yeah.
Like people believe that what you put out will come back to you, and good or bad, anything. What have you learned from your journey about karma? Is there anything that you have realized that maybe the world doesn't know, like any sort of perspective change that has happened in you since you became a healer, about how karma works, how it manifests into people's lives, how to spot it and how to use it for your, like, own good?
So, simply put, when you understand the concept of karma, there are two loopholes here because people associate karma with past life. Right? But like I told you, in the universe, there's no past, present, future. It's all happening in the now. The first thing that people should recognize is karma is nothing but the law of cause and effect. Right? Playing up. That means whatever I put out there will come back to me. Okay. Now the second jhol, and the reason I call it jhol is because so many people come to me and say, I'm a good person, but mere saath bura kyun hota hai, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. The biggest gap is people are not understanding is karma is the universe responding to your cause. So the cause you put out,
Yeah.
the universe is responding
Yeah.
as an effect.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a relationship between you and the quantum field out there.
Yeah.
Now, the biggest thing, the gap that people are not recognizing is the universe does not respond to actions. The universe responds to vibrations. And vibrations are a combination of thoughts and feelings.
Right.
So, a lot of people are doing positive action with negative feeling.
Right.
And negative is coming back to them and they say, yaar, ye kya jhol ho gaya? Right?
Yeah.
So, currently, number one, karma is like 2-minute Maggie noodles also. Here you give out and there it comes back. Because currently, I told you timelines, I've collapsed.
Achha, if you've done good, like it can manifest quickly also.
Yes. So, let's say, for example, you ask me for a glass of water. Okay. Now, my action will be I'll go and bring you a glass of water. So, I'm doing positive action. But I'm angry with you. And in my head space, I'm really like cursing you, and my thoughts and my feelings are negative about you, but my action is positive. Now, what will come back from you is negative. You'll maybe crib about the water. You'll say, "Ye kya hai, pani," whatever.
Yeah.
And then you'll wonder, "Yaar, मैंने तो पानी दिया था, देखो."
हाँ,
So-
and दिखाने के लिए फिर then it becomes like,
so this is very
but I gave you
inauthentic.
water.
Inauthentic because people, you really want to be authentic because, like I said, energy never lies, and energy speaks louder than words and actions.
Yeah.
So your thoughts and feelings are energy, and the actions are what the world can see. So I've
Right.
seen so many people who action positive करे but अंदर से वो negative हैं, inauthentic हैं. Or like for example, you have a goal, okay?
Yeah.
So you say मुझे ये business करना है, positively आप काम कर रहे हो, but अंदर fear है, तो result नहीं आता है.
हाँ.
And then you wonder कि मैंने तो पूरा कर्म किया था फिर भी result नहीं आया.
हाँ.
Because you're carrying fear inside, a negative vibration. So our vibrations are a combination of our thoughts and feelings. And karma is a sum total of our vibrations at the very subtle level. And that doesn't mean actions don't matter. Action
Actions
also will
matter.
come back to you, but then vibrations is what the universe responds to.
Yeah.
Once a person starts getting responsible for this, then they start cleaning their thoughts, their mind, their emotions, because they realize karma is a sum total of my thoughts, feelings, and actions.
How can one make their vibration, like, people talk about higher vibrational being and, higher self and everything. How can one become that?
It's a journey, it's a process.
What are the steps?
The first step is so our soul is like a 1,000-watt bulb that's already shining
Yeah.
within us.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were born with a very high frequency. So let's imagine there's a 1,000-watt bulb. Okay. And थोड़े दिन के बाद थोड़ा कचरा आ गया उसके ऊपर. और 20 साल में बहुत सारा कचरा आ गया. So now after 20 years, the bulb stops shining. Although the light is
Light is
on,
there.
the kachra is there. So the first step about raising your vibrations is clean away every kachra that has dimmed your light, that is coming in the way between you and your light.
How
Because-
can you do that? Like, say for example, I'll ask you an example in a realistic way. It's because I also agree with what you say, that you should clean that. Say for example, somebody is living in a toxic environment, right? And they can't move out of it, or maybe immediately they can't. But like you said, it becomes that layer on top of like what's not helping them shine. What do you do in that case?
You must have, there are many layers to understand, because if there were such easy formulas of how, then the whole world would be in a high vibration. Number one, this is not a formula, this is a journey.
Yeah.
Number two, if a person is living in a toxic environment,
Yeah.
okay, it's important they recognize that even they have toxicity within them, because everything is a match to your frequency. The universe is made up of energy and everything is functioning on a frequency. Like I'll give you an example. आप गाड़ी में बैठे हो और आपको रेडियो सुनना है. आप 91 पे ट्यून इन करते हो. अब वो कंट्रोल मेरे हाथ में है, 91. एंड बाहर दुनिया में सारे ब्रॉडकास्टिंग स्टेशंस अपना अपना गाना बजा रहे हैं. 98 भी बजा रहा है, 100 भी बजा रहा है, और इवन 91 भी बजा रहा है. बट आपकी गाड़ी में कौन सा स्टेशन का बजेगा गाना? 91. Why?
Because you have put
Because you tuned into 91. So you got that frequency of 91. Your car will not catch 98. Now let's say आपको वो गाना अच्छा नहीं लगता, तो आप लड़ते नहीं हो ना रेडियो से, आप गाड़ी छोड़ के भाग नहीं जाते हो ना.
Yeah.
You change your frequency.
Yeah.
So our outside world is always a match to our inner frequencies. See, the quantum field out there is only a mirror. आपने ये गानों में सुना होगा ना, जीवन एक दर्पण है. दर्पण का मतलब क्या है?
Mirror.
Mirror. So the outer world is only mirroring our inner world. So if there's toxicity out there, that means the toxic energy is inside me. So I have to go and clean that kachra inside me. And when I change my energy and my frequency, my entire outside changes. And this is exactly what I did when I started my journey. Right? I was in an environment which did not support my goals and dreams. But because I believed in my goals and dreams so much, that one day they had to tune into my frequency. And in physics, this is called the power of entrainment,
Okay.
where one vibration has the power to entrain other vibrations into its frequency if it's holding it strongly.
Yeah.
So ये toxicity है, भाग जाओ कर लो, ये सब blaming mechanisms हैं. Then you can't grow. Because you then are waiting कि वो लोग बदलेंगे तो मेरी life बदलेगी.
But also, I'd like to, again, a little scientific about what you just said. I've also, there's a scientific proof that if you are a positive person, if you are, vibrating on a higher frequency, good frequency, but there are people around you who are negative or vibrating on
They cannot touch
lower
you.
frequency. But it is said that a positive person can be easily affected by negative energy, but negative person will take a long time to turn into a positive person.
It's very natural because see, positive frequency is a light frequency. It's anti-gravity. It's more high.
Yeah.
Because a positive frequency has a high level of consciousness. Gravity is dense, negative. And we have a force called gravity that's always pulling negativity down. So it's very easy from up to be pulled down.
Yeah, that's what. कि किसी को गिराना easy है. Like there was this one video also I saw, like a father-daughter video where the father was demonstrating how to choose the right people to the daughter. And he made the daughter stand on a chair or a table or something. And she was like, she was on a higher level, na? So his point was, okay, you are here, I am down here, try to pull me up. She couldn't. Now, her father was like, I'm going to try to pull you down. And he did it. And he's like, see, it's very easy for people to pull you down rather than for you to pull people up. Of course, it can happen. Of course, you know.
So I'll tell you what, this analogy that you're giving is very good at the nursery level of physics.
Okay.
However, there comes a time when if you met me 20 years back, I would go with what you're saying.
Okay.
But over 20 years, your frequency is like a muscle you build up. Right? One time comes where your frequency has been so solidified into in a higher vibration, it could be any level, then number one, you don't attract negative. Because even if there is a negative person in your space, you will not attract that, because it's all about magnetism. We all carry a magnetic force within us, right? When I am broadcasting a positive frequency, there is no way any negative can come into my space because that's violating the laws of physics. It's very
But what
important
if,
to
like,
recognize.
say, for example, some people might say that, oh, I'm married to a person like that. Like, it's not like,
So what?
it's not like I attracted it, but now it's
No, if
here.
you're married, also you have to learn the game. Like I told you, this is not a how formula.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
Right? You become who you interact with. You become what
Exactly.
you eat. You become what you hear. Any of your senses that is taking information, you become that. So then, even if you're married to a person who has a negative vibe, see, because negative is not bad, it's just a vibe.
Yeah.
Then, at one level of the high energies, you become a transmuting machine. You know, energy cannot be created, not destroyed, it
Yeah.
can be transmuted.
Yeah.
So let's say if I've absorbed somebody's negative energy, I don't pull myself down, I transmute that energy, negative energy to positive. And now don't ask me how, because that's again a very
A very broad-
it's a long process. It's something you create mastery over.
But what, like, say, for what in real tasks, if you can give me like one or two examples, like, how can you do that?
I'll give you an example, okay?
Yeah.
Like let's say there's a very dark room.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, darkness is negative.
Yeah.
That's what we are referring to.
Yeah.
The moment light comes in, what happens with the darkness? What happens with the darkness?
This darkness is still there, but now the light came, something like that.
No, the darkness disappears.
Okay.
The moment you bring in light, the darkness is over. That's the transmutation we are talking about. Right? And our ascended masters, our gurus, they walked the planet with so much compassion and light that they broadcasted that darkness did not gravitate near them. You understand? And healing is actually transmuting energy. So when people come to me, right, they come with a lot of negative stories. So let's say they're at a frequency here and I'm at a frequency here. Now we have two options. Either I come down.
Yeah.
But
That's
no,
what I was
that's
gonna ask you.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm authority and my job is to entrain them and transmute their frequency to my frequency.
Yeah.
So by the end of 10 sessions, because now I've trained myself, I pick them up.
That's what I was going to ask you. How do you do that?
That's
Isn't that draining?
No, it's not. That's the mastery. And people ask me, Roman, why do you charge so much? I don't charge them for the energy or the transmutation. I charge them for the mastery I've learned in the last 35 years of
To protect yourself from that
It's not
energy.
about protecting, because there's nothing bad out there. I have been to the darkest places in the universe. Darkest means I'm talking about, I don't even want to get there, but
No, it
dark
might help
energies,
somebody, yeah.
Dark portals, dark dimensions.
And what
You
do
take
what
me-
did you see here in these dark portals?
So
and
it's so.
what is
now,
the feeling? What is the
It's
thing?
tense. It's negative. It's scary. It's
Did you see
sticky.
it in the form of people, situations, what?
So, number one, it shows up in your mind. It shows up as a frequency. It shows up as people. And I'm telling you, because see, God did not make bad people, right? The entire universe is a play of light and dark. There are no good people, bad people. There are dark people, there are light people. There's dark energy, there's light energy. At one time, 30 years back, darkness lived inside me also. Right? And it's taken an 18, 19-year mastery to transmute the darkness into light. Today, I'm not scared of darkness. Because I know the moment you walk in, the darkness will transmute, right? It could be any level of darkness. I don't even believe in something called dark entities and dark ghosts and all of that. But just in case, even been there, done that, because one of my subjects in quantum physics was death and dying and paranormal psychology. So I've done parapsychology.
Oh.
So that's also a very, very deep subject where you understand the impact of other energies interacting into your energy field. So now, because energy cannot be dangerous, it cannot be bad, it's just dark energy.
But if it's dark, how is it not bad? Like, because that's the psyche of a human
So
brain,
when you
right? If you
understand
say
it-
dark, then that's the first thing that
But
comes to your
that's the
mind. that
meaning
it's-
we attach to it.
Yeah, that's
what. Please understand, when you look at an atom, there is a negatively charged particle, the electron.
Yeah.
There is a proton positive.
And
So the
then-
negative is the dark side. The proton. So is electron bad? No, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
So the darkness is necessary to live in this world of duality.
Exactly.
Right. So it's just a part of life.
Right.
And how you see it, if you feel it's bad, it'll show up as bad. It's the meaning you attach to it. Like, for example, this water right here, it's clear. Whatever color I attach to this, add to this, the water will turn turn
Yeah.
into this.
True.
So even energy is like that. If I'm seeing dark energy, it's just dark energy, dark matter. Everything came out from the darkness. If you understand the Big Bang theory, it was all dark, it was all matter. We've come out from the darkness and we are moving towards the light. So how can we wrong it? But dark is dense, dark is a low frequency, and the game is you got to move from darkness to light.
Yeah.
But the fun thing about darkness is, even in the Big Bang, okay, there was only darkness, but from the darkness came out light. So you have to look for the light in the darkness.
Also, I think, I had this one we won't get into the details of it, but I had this one experience a while back. And before that, I didn't have some pleasant experiences. And then after a while, I had a pleasant experience, which like felt like, oh, I see myself, everything that I'm here to do, I'm living now. And like at one point I felt like I'm just existing. Now I'm actually truly present, living, aware, all that. And I felt like if you don't have that space or that dark that you are calling,
You'll never know light.
You'll never know if it's light
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. You can only know light when you've gone through the
Like
darkness.
when, exactly.
Yeah, so it's important we educate them and let them know that God did not make bad people.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody's doing what they're doing, coming from where they are coming from, knowing
True.
what they know.
True.
And they're just unaware they're doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you an example. Let's say it's a 10th floor building. Okay. Now, a person, and every floor has certain rules. Okay. Now, a person at first floor is only doing the rule of the first floor, right? He doesn't know 10th floor pe kya ho raha hai. But a person who's moved up from first floor to the 10th floor, now he has a higher vision. वो first floor वाले को देख के बोलेगा क्या क्या कर रहा है?
Perspective.
You know.
Yeah.
So, and who is going to judge कौन सही कौन गलत है?
Yeah, true.
But you know what the thumb rule of psychology and shadow work is? If you spot it, you got it. So if I can see some darkness in you, there are two rules. Number one, maybe, and I'm not judging you.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
of
can
course.
see it.
Yeah.
That means somewhere in some lifetime or in some timeline, I have been there. That's why I can see it in you.
Of course, yeah.
Right?
That's why
And-
you can recognize it.
And I can feel, the ideal way is not to judge you, but to feel compassion. And when I feel compassion for you,
Yeah.
what you're doing then is not wrong. It just becomes, oh, they're not aware they're doing it.
Yeah, yeah. It just becomes that, there's just
Yes.
been this situation or karma or whatever they are bound to, or that's taking them on this journey.
Yeah.
And
to even understand energy at this level of what we are talking needs a very a matured perspective of energy. Because people are so caught up in the good, bad, right, wrong, judgment space that, or negative is bad. For example, negative energy is bad. But वो bad है ही नहीं. Physics में देखो अगर,
Yeah.
if you look at it scientifically, it's just dark matter.
yeah.
How can it be bad? हम dark matter से तो बनते हैं. सब कुछ तो वहीं से निकला है.
So you just mentioned that multiple times, right? That there are no bad people. There are no bad people there. But still, then, like say for example, someone killing someone, because these things are also happening, serial killings, this, that, whatever. So then what is that? Like, how do you not say that this person's bad when they kill somebody or they do something bad to someone or like molest a woman? Like, then how do you look at it? Like how...
So again, see, there are different lenses to look at the world from. So when you look at it from the human lens, these are inhuman acts.
Yeah.
So when you look at a human being, okay, we have three instincts: the animal instinct,
Yeah.
the human instinct, and the divine instinct. The whole game of evolution is we come out from the animal, and if you understand, consciousness by default is always moving upward. So the journey is from the animal we become human, and from the human we become divine.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Moving from darkness to light.
Yeah.
So when I say there are no bad people, I'm not saying these acts are not bad. All I'm saying is these people don't know because they're so embodied in the animal instinct.
Right.
Like I remember 30 years back, if I wanted to give up anger, I only gave up anger every time I got angry. But every time I would get angry and do the act, I would feel horrible because the divine in me would tell me that I'm being very animal-like. And then one day, I started, from my anger, I decided not to be angry. So, what I'm trying to tell you is when you look at the journey of growth of the soul, only in the murdering that the person will go through guilt and recognize I should stop this and wake up from the animal instinct to the divine. And this can take many, many lifetimes.
Lifetimes.
There's only one soul, Valmiki, who in one lifetime was born in an animal. He transited to the divine in that one lifetime. If you see the story of Valmiki.
Really?
Yeah. And that is where we've been caught up. Ideally, when God designed us, if you look at our 84 lakhs evolution that we've gone through, it was ideally not designed that we would keep taking rebirth, because we only get stuck in the rebirthing cycle in the human species. In no other species we get stuck
Really?
there. Yes. So what I'm trying to tell you is, today when I look at me, maybe in this lifetime I'm evolved and I'm in the light, but maybe about 100 lifetimes behind, I was also in the dark. I would have been a murderer and a robber and everything. We go through all of that to become who we are. Right? So what I'm trying to say, is the act animal-like? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, the act is bad. But then
yeah.
is the person doing it with a sense of awareness? No, they're not even aware they're doing it. They're so caught up in the animal instinct that they don't know. Because the moment you wake up to awareness, an aware person will never choose to hurt another person. And that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You recognize.
Yeah,
and
true,
that's the
true.
journey. So if you catch yourself doing something, and that's why in the beginning I told you, the first step is becoming aware of who am I? What kind of a person am I? Am I doing something that's hurting someone? Right? Now, have I hurt people in my lifetime? Absolutely yes. With my anger. I used to have a lot of anger. But every time I hurt someone, I would get hurt. And from that anger, have I become compassionate? So like you said, only from the darkness comes the light. Had I not been that angry person, I would never be this compassionate person.
Yeah.
Right? Only from my jealousy do I start blessing people. So you only learn from the dark times.
Yeah.
So that's why I say the darkness is important for us to become the light. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm not endorsing these acts of murdering and robbing
True.
and all of that.
Yeah, that's very important for, just
Yes,
to put
to
it
have
out
this
there,
distinction. Yes.
Because people should not feel like, oh, it's justified. Like if I feel
No,
a certain anger or emotion
See, please
towards
understand,
somebody.
we are the most evolved species, okay? And we came here with a lot of love in our heart, so much compassion to give to the world. But somehow, and we are the only species who embody the essence of the divine to that much quotient, a very high quotient. But we've dimmed that light and we've just become so animal-like.
Yeah.
We've actually worse than even the wild animals now.
True.
So that's where we've lost the humanness, right? And the invitation is to move out of that animal instinct, embody the human in you, and then move up to the divine in you.
Yeah. So now this season we've also introduced this one segment. It's a game segment, which is like with you, since you're quantum, energy, everything. So we decided to play a quantum whisper challenge with you. So I'll explain you the rules of the game. So every time, like say for example, it's if it's one of the player takes the headphones and listens to the music in their ears, and the other person has to make them guess what is the sentence in the chit.
Got it.
Okay, so if they end up guessing it just by lip reading, because they won't able to hear you, so if the person is able to guess what the sentence is, then they get the point. But if not, then the other person takes a try, and then let's see who gets the 1 or 2 points, and then that person wins. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Do you want to start first?
You can go.
Okay. That was smart, huh? Okay, fine. Chalo. Louder. So you can pick any chit.
Okay.
I'm scared.
I told Mercury to retrograde somewhere else.
Can you say it again?
I
Don't
told
I told the you have to keep
Mercury to retrograde somewhere else.
I told true.
I told Mercury.
I don't.
I told Mercury to retrograde somewhere else.
Okay, I give up. Okay. I'm not able to guess it.
Okay, one last time. Okay.
Okay.
I
Don't.
told
Okay. I told.
Mercury.
Pankhudi.
Mercury.
I told.
Mercury. To
Universe? What is it?
retrograde
I told.
somewhere else.
I told someone else.
Somewhere else.
I told someone else.
I told Mercury to retrograde somewhere else.
I told you, but you told someone else. What is? Okay, I think I. Oh my god! What was it?
I told Mercury to retrograde somewhere else.
Oh my god! How could I? Oh my god! It's your turn now.
Oh my
Let's
God,
see.
this is-
These are crazy, huh? It's quantum whispers. So they're going to be fun. I don't know if either of us are going to be able to do it, but I have high hopes from you. But let's see. Ready? एक तो इतना loud music है ना इसमें. Oh my god. ये थोड़ा hard है. ठीक है, but try करती हूँ. I think first दो words तो आ जाएंगे.
My
Yeah. Third.
thing.
Third, eye,
I
third eye, third eye, third eye,
thought. Think.
my
My mind.
third eye,
My third eye.
okay, just
Just
rolled itself,
got.
rolled itself.
My third eye just got.
My third eye just rolled itself. Rolled,
My third eye just
rolled itself.
opened.
Rolled itself. Rolled.
Got itself. Got itself.
Itself? Rolled.
My third eye just
rolled itself.
rolled itself.
Yes! Wow! Amazing! Great. See, I had hopes for you. Okay. Now I have to do, yaar. 1 point to you. Now I have to at least guess one. Shit. Okay. Play a good English song for like just my brain to work better. You changed it?
Okay, yeah. Okay. My spirit.
1 second, it's not. Play. I'm already crying listening to this. Okay.
It's a nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. My spirit guides.
My spirit guides,
Thinks. I'm hilarious.
think
I'm hilarious.
I'm an idiot. My spirit guides, think.
I'm hilarious.
What is
My spirit guides think I'm hilarious.
my spirit guides, think I am
Hilarious.
idiot.
Oi.
Silent.
Hilarious.
Lover. What?
My spirit
My
guides,
spirit guides think
I am hilarious.
I'm not able to get the laugh. My spirit guides think I
I
am.
am hilarious.
You can act.
Then she'll get it. Okay, my spirit guide think I am hilarious.
My spirit guides think I am hilarious.
Hilarious.
Chalo, thank you. Thank you for doing that. 1-1. Okay, it's your
1-1?
turn. Yeah. So we do like rounds of 3
Okay.
and then whoever wins, wins. You're having fun. Fun. Okay. Chalo. Okay, I think this you will be able to guess. My
My
higher
aunt.
higher self
Higher self
wants
was. My higher self wants
a nap.
wants
A
My higher self wants
nap. A
a
nap.
nap.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow, yeah, you're so good.
Good.
But these are fun.
Yeah.
lines, right? They're fun.
Cute.
They're cute. Okay. Now she's at 2.
Oh.
I'm at 1. And this is second for me. Second or third for me?
Third.
Third for me.
Okay. The universe just left me on read. The
The okay.
universe
Universe
just
is just
left
left. My
me,
universe just left.
me,
My universe just left me.
the universe
The universe just left me.
on read. On read.
On read.
On read.
On read. On read.
On
On
read.
read.
On read.
My universe just left me on
On
red.
red.
My universe just left me on red.
Good.
Nice.
You did
Good.
it.
Thanks to you, by the way.
Okay,
So this is.
Last?
I think this is your last. I think you're gonna win, and it's okay. You're the guest. You should win. Okay. I hope this is a good one. Make it more. Let's make
Music?
it more fun now this time. ठीक है? नहीं ये अच्छा नहीं है. This is not that good. Okay, this is nice. Okay, very good. Goes with you. My
My
aura, auras
auras.
glow,
My auras
glow,
halo.
glow is
In my auras glow is
on point today.
on point.
Today.
My aura's glow is on point.
Today.
Point.
Today.
Today.
Today. Yes. Wow. So good. And the winner is, of course, without a doubt, Ramon. You
Thank
did
you. This
so
was
well.
fun.
Loved
Yeah,
it.
this was fun.
This was fun, right? Now we'll move to a fun segment, which is called Curious Quick 5. And I'm going to ask you 5 quick questions. And are you ready?
Absolutely, yes.
What's the one thing that you're curious about lately, apart from energy, healing, something?
Life after death.
We had to talk about that. But anyway, next time. Okay. What's the one person that you're curious about, living or dead? It could be anyone.
My future self.
Lovely. Good answer. What's the one place you're curious to travel to?
I love Italy. I know it's very close to my heart, and I would just love to go there back.
Yeah, great. What's the one book or author you're curious about? Or a piece of content that you feel connects with you and you would like to
Can
share?
chew on it.
Huh?
Something that I can really chew on and just be there.
Huh? Or somebody that you're curious about, like a book or an author or a piece of content that made you curious and you would like to share?
Dr. Wayne Dyer, I love his philosophy. I love his readings. I love the way he looks at life from a very emotional, from a spiritual and quantum perspective.
Lovely, lovely. What's the one technology that you're curious about?
AI.
I know people say AI. Is there any specific application that you feel like it would be interesting to see AI in?
So the perception or the intuition that I have is there's going to be a time very soon where AI is going to actually read people's mind. It already will respond to only our thoughts. So I'm really curious to get there. However, also the fear is there that people might just get so caught up in this
Yeah.
and
yeah.
lose their own intelligence.
Yeah. True. Great. Lovely answers. Huh? So every time a guest is on the show, like I'm on season 3, season 4, all the previous 3 seasons, people also ask me questions off camera. Some little questions here and there and show their curiosity about me. So this season I've added this segment. It's called Curiosity Reversed, where you get to ask me one question. Any one question.
How much of all that you learn in your podcast do you really implement?
How much of I learn do I really implement? I think I've learned quite a lot. I've learned very like one of the things that stands out to me truly, I'll mention that. So I interviewed this fashion photographer, Sasha Jairam, and so she has this beautiful passion for photography, lighting, and everything. And I have this passion for music. And when I met her, like I was surprised, and she said that I had no training. It was
Wow.
very instinctive that I built this, and she's one of the best in the country. And that really, like it will wake up call, like gave me a wake up call that, that's something that because I used to always feel I have a very, this musical side, and very like, I'm very into music, all kinds of music. And, I deeply get moved and affected when I listen to someone singing, or a piece of music that they created, or something, or a background, anything. But I always used to condition and tell myself that, oh, but I need training to sing. I need to learn music
Got
to
it.
sing. But I never had that aptitude to even, like, इतना interest भी नहीं था कि मैं actual उसका professional training लूँ. और मैंने ये excuse भी बना के रखा दिमाग में. Like I had given this excuse to myself that I need to do that. But
Got
when
it.
I met Sasha, and when she shared her story and journey, that really made me question. That really made me question it and look at it from a different perspective. Have I still sang a song that I was supposed to as a bucket list? I haven't. I backed out of it. But here's hoping that we'll get there. But yeah, that's what I learned. And
maybe that's about you exploring your purpose.
Yeah, maybe like that's one thing
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I think
nice.
I've not acknowledged yet. I'm keeping it at the back. But yeah, maybe it's my purpose,
Yeah.
being so into music. This was a lovely question,
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So we've reached the end of our conversation. Is there any last thoughts that you would like to share about your feelings about being on the podcast, the conversation we had, or any we mentioned about your holistic center? We forgot to talk about it in details, but you do conduct retreats. Would you like to share with the audience something about those retreats, or anything, any message that you would like to share?
Golden Age Aswara is like a very safe container for anybody who'd want to come and explore their journey and their purpose and passion.
Right.
It's a very deep intrinsic journey, and we don't believe in quick results. So even our retreats are like, every retreat that we go through is like a week-long retreat, like 7 nights, 8 days. And they're very slow and progressive. Like we have 3 levels of retreats: level 1, level 2, and level 3. Like I told you in the beginning when I met you, Shruti, that I am passionate about human beings and I love them. And I only want to tell people is take your life as a project, slow, easy, and be compassionate, and just have that fire in your belly to unfold yourself, because it can take a lifetime to reach there. Don't ever, making money, profession, having fun, going to parties, all a byproduct. Keep it all going. But this thing must be the prime objective, is to explore who you are, find who you are. And we at Golden Age Aswara are very sensitive and passionate about what we do.
Yeah.
Bring out the best version of people in them.
Yeah. How did you feel about being on the podcast?
Very excited.
What was
and
your-
I'm very intrigued because intrigued and impressed, Shruti, because at this age, you asking the question you're asking, and I'm sure it's coming also from this place of you knowing all of this. So that intrigues me and excites me. I think it's a great experience, and thank you so much for having
Thank
me
you
here.
so much. You were lovely. That's really, thank you. You were very kind. And I hope to have a conversation with you again soon. I
Sure.
know it will happen.
Sure,
I
let's
know
do
it
it.
in my heart it will happen. And
Great.
it's just a matter of time. And keep up the
Amazing.
good work. I hope you keep changing people's lives for the better. And see you again on this podcast very
Thank
soon.
you.
Thank you.
Great.